It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission really is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Dr. Ola. She's in the building, and she'll be talking about visibility, the keys to unlocking unstoppable profitability. Is that even possible these days? We'll figure that out. What's going on, Dr. Ola? How you doing?
I am very good, Shay. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Well, thanks for being here. You know, there's sometimes I meet folks and we have an opportunity to have this conversation. I've never met them in person. And other times I had a chance to sit down and break bread. So I'm excited to be able to have this conversation with you, having a chance to meet you and know where your heart is. So thank you. And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because without you, well, we don't have a show. So we appreciate you showing up and allowing us to stream into your home, especially during these challenging times we're living in now. So thanks a lot. They're looking at this, and entrepreneurs have showed up because they're like, wait a minute, visibility, the keys to unlocking profitability. Here's the question. What's holding entrepreneurs back these days from just being visible in their business?
Very good question. But let me first of all start with what visibility really is, right? It's how clearly your customers, your clients, your audiences are seeing you, hearing you, and remembering you. And so it's more than just visibility is more than just being online. A lot of people think, okay, I'm posting online, I'm posting on social media every day, so that's how I'm visible. But really, it's about being seen as the go-to expert. And so, what's really stopping a lot of entrepreneurs from being visible is really the lack of a personal, a clear branding message. And also the fear of being seen or being judged, again, for the messaging, that they're given to the audience. Some cases is just a lack of consistency. You post one day and then, it takes another week or a week and a half before you post again on your social. The biggest part of that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is not speaking, not getting on stages. A lot of entrepreneurs, unless they're speakers, they're more comfortable speaking, but a lot of entrepreneurs don't do that. And so, in my own personal case, I wasn't speaking a whole lot, years ago. I was, as a physician, I started off just starting off with a wellness coaching program, and I thought because of my expertise, a whole lot of people will come to me, for my services. But all I heard was crickets until I got on stage. So speaking is a huge one.
You know, as you were talking, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for being authentic, by the way. You said something, you said brand messaging. And you're right. Visibility means different things, different folks. Brand messaging means different things to different folks. For those folks that leaned in and said, whoa, I should have a brand message, not just be posting stuff. It's an unfair question, ladies and gentlemen, because y'all all are different places, different spaces. But I'm going to go ahead and still ask her, when she says brand messaging, what is brand messaging? And then how would she recommend someone use their brand message in their business so they can be profitable? I know that's two questions in one, okay? But don't worry,
Mm,
she got this thing.
yeah, sure. So brand messaging really is the message that you're putting out there for your service or your product or your expertise. And so that message has to be very, very clear, has to be very, very concise. You know, a lot of people have, they're on social, they have websites, they have all the tools, everything to get their messaging out there. But it's a whole lot of information about multiple different things that they do. So at the end of the day, nobody really knows what you do. Your message has to be clear, it has to be consistent, and it has to be concise. And so, and it has to be really geared in one direction. What is that one thing you do that people will remember you for? In my case, I help speakers, coaches, and authors gain visibility by speaking to a live studio audience. That's it. I'm not, doing something else, doing multiple things. It's just one message. And so anytime anyone hears about me, that's the one thing. Even if they don't know, the target audience, they know one thing. They know that I'm the lady that talks about studios, that puts people in studio rooms. So it has to be very, very clear. And that's the problem a lot of entrepreneurs have. They're all over the place. They're doing multiple things, and in their on their website, it could show, one aspect of what they do, but then it shows something else that they're into, and so it has to just be one message.
Well
I hope
said,
I
by the way. And yeah, well said. And as you was talking, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get into her background. I get it. Some of you like, Shay, who is this person? I like what I'm hearing. She's making sense and sense to many of you. You're like, but what's her story, Shay? What's her background? Don't worry, we're gonna get to that in just a second. Some of you already read her bio. Okay, some of you are already over at the website, her website right now. But before we talk about her background, she says something that's very important. She says that entrepreneurs should be able to speak for their business. And some of you might have said, what does she say to the person? Or here's the question: what do you say to the person that just has a cringe at the idea and have a fear of getting in front of people and just talking about what they're doing? Although it's a very important part of the business. So number one, what's your perspective on that? And number two, does your company offer ways to help them get comfortable if that's something that they need to do?
Okay. So for the person that's fearful of getting out there, remember, nobody knows your business better than you. Nobody knows what you do better than you, and nobody can really articulate it better than you. So I just want to encourage that entrepreneur that's out there that's fearful of getting out, or maybe fearful of perhaps even getting on a stage. You want to start where you are, right? So you don't have to jump onto a stage just, right off the bat. You could start with a podcast. You could start by sharing your message, to a smaller group. You could get on a show like Shay's, and share your message there. But you want to start, because at the end of the day, people won't see you as an expert until you get on platforms where you're able to share your message one to many. And I just want you to encourage you, let the fear, don't be fearful. Just start. Even you could start with a Facebook live, or just record a video. Just record a video and post it, and then from there you move on to the next. I'll tell you a quick story. Many years back, I was fearful of getting on stages. I was more of the shy, introverted person, and I really cringed at the thought of even getting on a stage. But I knew I had to get on stage. There was just something inside of me that just, I knew I had, almost a calling, so to speak, to help other people. And back then, because I was fearful, I had to first of all start slow. First of all, I put it on my vision board so I could see it every day. And the more I saw it, the more I thought to myself, okay, I need to do something about it. So I got on my first stage. My first stage was a pitch competition to talk about my business. I signed up for that pitch competition. I remember my husband telling me, "You got to sign up for this pitch competition." And I'm like, "Nope." I found every excuse under the planet not to sign up. But then he kept coming back, and helping me overcome every objection that I was putting in the way. And the one thing he told me was, whether you win or not, is that's not the point. The point is that you go on that stage and you talk about your business. And I did that. I went and I spoke about my business. And guess what? I did not win, but it propelled me. And then I wanted to go on to the next stage. And then I started getting calls actually to come on stages. And then that was it. And that was the light bulb that I had that made me realize the importance of visibility. Because although I'm a physician by training, an expert at what I did, people didn't quite see me as that expert until they saw me and they heard me. So people need to see you, they need to hear you. And the more they see you and they hear you, the more they're drawn to you. So,
You kind of went into your backstory, which was spot on, by the way. I like how you gave us a little sneak preview, even for the defining moment that led you to doing what you're doing now, said so brilliantly. Now, if you had to step back and say, you know what? for those folks that want visibility, you want to be on the studio, here are 3 steps you can do to start that journey. Here are 3 things you can do. You kind of gave little pieces here and there, but for those folks who got a paper and pencil and you're like, okay, she just talked about her backstory. Shay, I get it. She's here now. But to
Mhm.
me, what are 3 things she would recommend that I could do to start getting visibility that could help me unlock my profitability? What are 3 things? She might have 4, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm only asking for 3 that you would share with the audience.
Sure, sure. Well, number one is you want to first of all overcome any limitation you have in your mind, any fear, any limitation, and know inside of yourself that you own your business. You created your business and you are the best person that can talk about your business. So just have that mindset that regardless of what you might see out there or the objections or obstacles in the way, know that you're the best person that can really talk about your business. So I want you to overcome any fears you have. If you're fearful of getting on stage, you may need a speaker coach, right? Every coach needs a coach, and everyone out there needs a coach. You may need a speaker coach to really help you get comfortable. And if you're looking for that, I do have a whole number of them that I could refer you to. Now, you also, the other thing you want to do is you want to get on a stage. And you want to get on a stage that will give you visibility. And that's another thing that I do. I help speakers, coaches, and authors gain visibility by speaking to live studio audiences, right? So you want to get on a stage. You want to get all the digital assets that you need to get your brand out there. For instance, you may need a website, you may need branding photos, you may need videos, you need content. So you want to, get your content out there, post your content on your platforms, and be comfortable doing so. And then the third thing is you want to be consistent. People don't listen to entrepreneurs that maybe show up one day and then, another a week later they show up again, and then 3 months down the line no one hears about you. You want to post on social media regularly. If you can post daily, great. If not, pick 3 days. Pick however many days, but remain consistent. So consistency is crucial. So those would be my keys. Get help, and Shay said I may have a fourth when I do. Get help whenever in areas where you feel short. So, like I mentioned earlier, if you need a speaker coach, get one to help you refine your speech. Everyone has a story, and your story matters. People want to hear your story. So even if it's starting with your own story, what led you to doing what you're doing? You heard my story. I have a whole lot more stories, that I could share. So you can even start with your story, and then go into what makes you passionate about what you do and why you do it. So that'll be the advice I'll give to the entrepreneur.
Well said. And you talked about speaking in front of a virtual studio. Take a moment and kind of give us the preview of speaking live and then the benefits of speaking in a virtual video studio. For some folks, you might be like, well, no, I've got to have an audience. They've got to see me. That means I've got to feel the audience. And that might be true. But that might not be true. I mean, the world has changed. I'm sure you probably know that over the last 3 years since COVID. So take a moment if you would, and you say, hey, I'm the person for a virtual studio to speak to your target audience. What's the difference between the virtual studio and a live studio? Is there one? Take a moment for that person to just kind of plan that in their mind right now.
Absolutely. So the difference is, well, so why don't we just start off with a live studio? You go there, the audience is there. You're able to, you get the energy from the audience and vice versa. And it's a great way to connect with your audience, but it can also be limited. So compared to a virtual stage, in a virtual stage, you have endless number of people listening to you. You could easily have a global audience, which we've had on our stage. We get a lot of people from all over the United States. We also get other countries zooming in, and watching you and listening to you. So you also you get an audience that's live, but they're virtual live, right? They're virtual and they're watching you. So much like, those massive stages where you'll see some of these celebrities on, you'll get that virtual audience watching you. And also, in terms of getting that energy from the crowd, they're looking at you, they're watching you, you're looking at them also on the screens. Everything on in a virtual stage, in a studio, at least in our studio, is really it's powerful, it's professional, everything is life sized. So you're telling people, hey, put in the chat if you agree with what I just said, and you just see a stream of whatever it is that you're asking for. You see 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 going down the chat. So your chat box is your instrument, and you can engage the audience whichever way you want to. You can tell them, hey, raise your hands if you agree with what I just said, or or wave at me. And they're all doing the same thing. And you're seeing multiple faces from all across the screen in front of you. So it's a powerful platform. And also the fact that it's just really controlled. You have, for those that maybe are not comfortable speaking to live audiences, maybe in massive stages, you have a very controlled environment. You have a technical team right, behind, making sure everything is working out just fine, and you have your audience right in front of you. So really, a studio environment allows you to speak in a very professional, state of the art room, controlled, and you can also get all the digital assets. So all the videos, the reels, you get all that as well, and you can then use those for your branding. When you go to a live stage, how many times do you have your photographer come and take pictures, or a videographer, or have people in a whole team helping you out? It's not that often. Oftentimes, when I've gone on big stages, I may have a family member sitting in front of me, or hope that the people running the event can give me digital assets. But in our studio, we really make it very, very easy for you, and we get you all the help you need and all the assets you need.
And I concur. I've had the opportunity to be there, by the way, an amazing, incredible professional experience. For those folks that are watching, we're going to transition to a segment. I think it's a good transition where you was on the roll there to a segment we have here called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks that tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know what we're about to do. In fact, you can go ahead and say those magical words now. Today is my January 1st. Happy New Year to you, by the way. Happy New Year. For all the new folks who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show family. Thanks for allowing us to broadcast into your home right now. You've got a lot of choices, but you choose to be with us. We appreciate that. Today is my January 1st is our personal mantra here at the Happy Entrepreneur Show. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or how bright and sunny that past is, the past no longer equals our future. And so my question for the one and only Dr. Ola on the other side is really two parts. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? What does it mean to you? And number two, what was a setback you had? Maybe her life's been perfect, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know. Sounds like it's been perfect so far. What was a setback you had, and how did you bounce back from it?
All right. Well, for my the first question, today is my January 1st. For me, it means it's my fresh start. It's a new page, it's a do-over. And my January 1st came when I gave myself to pivot beyond medicine, and also beyond my previous entrepreneurial journey. I realized I could redefine success outside of the white coat, and I could begin to live life on my own terms in terms of my entrepreneurial journey. So, a quick story. Prior to the pandemic, in my practice, I was working out of two clinics. I was getting really burnt out. And at that point in my life, so far, I've been practicing now for 16 years as a family physician. And at that point in my life, I was just getting really burnt out. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to try something different, but I was stuck. I didn't know how to get out because all I knew was medicine. I'd gone to school all these years. That was it. I didn't, in medical school, you're not taught how to start a business, right? You're not taught about being an entrepreneur. You're taught how to take care of patients, and I was good at it. And but I knew there was more for to me beyond my clinic. Not that I didn't enjoy what I did, but it was just time for a transition. So during the pandemic, for the very first year, after when the pandemic started, I actually did I worked telemedicine, so where I was seeing patients from my home. And at the same time, homeschooling my son. But what that did for me was it gave me time to think about other things I wanted to do. It gave me time to start actually a wellness coaching program. And I launched into my wellness coaching business, and everything was looking great. But the problem was I did not understand visibility. I didn't understand the business of the business side of the wellness space. So 6 months down the road, it was crickets. I wasn't really getting any customers. I got a whole bunch of people that wanted my expertise free of charge, and I gave it. But then I realized it wasn't going to be a profitable business. So fast forward, I launched into the studio, and that came about when I decided to make a decision to get out of my comfort zone, get out of being an so-called introvert, get out of being shy of getting on stages, and I decided to get on my first stage. I got on that first stage, like I mentioned earlier, and that was my aha moment because I realized this really truly is the missing link. I was getting all these people lining up, listening to me, wanting to get more, wanting to hear more. And then I realized this is something that I should do more often. And so I got on multiple podcasts, got on multiple stages, and eventually started helping other entrepreneurs, start their own, get on stages and get over, their fear of getting on stages. And so for me, going back to your initial question, giving myself permission to pivot, because a lot of people are stuck where they are. They're stuck doing career, doing things that maybe initially they enjoyed what they were doing, but after a while they realize, okay, it's time for me to add to it or to do something else. But then because that's all they've known, they've just stayed there. So I just want you to give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to explore other areas. Give yourself permission to try other things, and it's okay. And you're not relegated to doing one specific thing or sticking in one specific direction. So that would be my encouragement to any entrepreneur. And do not be afraid of failing. Don't feel like, okay, because one didn't work out. When I thought wellness coaching was it for me because I was a doctor. But then now what I do has nothing to do with medicine. But the thing about it, for me, I gave myself permission not only to step out, but to know that back whenever I want to. But at this juncture and this point in my life, my desire and my drive is in helping other coaches, speakers, course creators, authors gain visibility.
I love it, man. Very powerful story. Appreciate you sharing that. So, what do you enjoy most about what you're doing right now? You seem to have energy. You seem to put a smile on your face. What do you enjoy most about what you do these days?
What I enjoy most is a transformation that I see with my clients. For me, it's more about helping a person um, achieve their God given potential. a lot of us have potential in us, but sometimes we need either a coach, a mentor, somebody that can believe in us and make us believe in ourselves. So for me, what keeps me going and makes and brings that smile to my face is when, when I get somebody, call me and say, wow, thank you, getting on your stage. Oh my goodness. It really raised the bar for me. It really helped me get more speaking gigs. It helped me, get in front of my ideal clients. I've been able to sign up more clients, or I've been able to get on more stages. The transformation is really huge for me. And just seeing entrepreneurs make a full circle and and level up really.
Level up. I love it. And as you were rocking and rolling, one of my favorite questions to ask, well, of course, they're all my favorite. I wouldn't ask them. But one of my favorite questions to ask was to get towards the end, and we have a few minutes now, is what's one of the most valuable pieces of information you've ever been given? Or what's one of the best pieces of advice, I'll say it like that, that you've ever been given? And I'll frame it for the audience so they understand when I actually come off the mountain with the 10 commandments. Okay, let's be clear here. And we certainly know you read more books than you can remember as a doctor. You probably watch more videos than you can probably recall. I don't even track the hours anymore. I mean, 10,000 hours, I probably did it with my thumb yesterday, right? But in all seriousness, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given from any mentor or book or along the journey? And why is it so important to you?
The best advice I've been given is don't be afraid to fail. Take the leap. Always just take that leap of faith. Um, you will never you will never get it right the first time. It could be messy the first time, but start. Start where you are. Start now. Don't wait. The Nike, everybody talks about the Nike slogan, but there's nothing better than that slogan. Just do it. Do it now. Do it afraid. Do it fearful. Do it now. Don't wait another day because another day is not promised. And there's so many people out there that are looking for what you have. So many people out there whose lives you can transform. If I stayed in my place of feeling, that I wasn't quite ready yet, or just being comfortable where I was, I won't have had the awesome opportunity of impacting so many lives so far and so many to come. So the best advice is, again, don't be fearful. Yeah, and don't be afraid of failure. Just learn from your mistakes, learn from the failures, because as you learn, you're able to perfect, the path and the course you take in life, regardless of whatever it is you do. I'll give you a very good example. Even though I run these studio events, I've never run a virtual summit. But just last week, I was going for a walk and I thought about it. But I want to put together. The idea just came to me to put together a virtual summit, and I'm an action taker. Once an idea comes, I have to just implement it. I don't take too much time to think about it, because the longer you think about it, you will talk yourself right out of it. Right? Analysis paralysis. You will think of, how do I do it? I've never done it before. So I take out every limitation in my mind, and as long as it's been, as long as someone has done it, and even if no one has done it, I create the course for myself. I do it anyway. So, I had the idea of running the summit. Never done it before, but I still decided I was going to do it. This was late last week. As of right now, I have a summit that I'm planning, and I'm going to run it next this coming Monday. I have about 8 speakers that said yes within like a day, 2 days. I have a summit that I'm running for 7 hours in a week. How much time did I have to put together a summit that I've never done before? A couple of days. Why? Because I refuse to let anything stop me. I refuse to let any limitation hinder me from doing what I'm supposed to do, especially for people, and seeing transformations that could come from it. So I just want to encourage entrepreneurs, Let's get away from analysis paralysis. Let's stop looking at the multiple reasons we can't do it. Let's take away every obstacle in the way, and let's take ownership of all our decisions. No one is to blame for anything. We take full responsibility for whatever decisions we make, and we can do whatever it is that we put our minds to. There's so many resources out there and so many people, platforms, AI, so many instruments out there that could help entrepreneurs, move to the next level. So we really have no excuse in 2025, in this day and age, not to go for whatever it is our dream is. Remember, there's somebody out there that needs what you have, and nobody can do what you do the way you do it. Nobody can say what you do the way you say it. So get out there, don't be afraid of failing. Just start. Just start where you are and do it messy. Be comfortable doing it messy.
Oh, I love it, Bye. I love the energy. I love the passion. If we come down the home stretch, a two-part question. Number one, what type of clients is your firm looking to work with these days, if any? Number two, how can folks connect with you? They're like, hey, I like what I hear. I want to stay in this conversation. Where should they go? How can they connect with you?
Sure. So my target audience are speakers, coaches, and authors. And it could be a speaker that's really at any level, the aspiring speaker, a speaker that's looking for more stages. You're looking to get on more stages. You're not getting those paid gigs, and you're looking for, a resource that will help you get paid gigs. That's something that I offer as well. For those speakers, you lack the content, you lack speaker reels, you lack videos, branding photos. Those are the things, part of the things I provide. And I then put you on a stage, and I also give you an audience. So you can't really go wrong. So the speaker, the coach, the author, the course creator that needs visibility, that needs exposure, that needs really to take their business to the next level, uh, and that really wants to monetize. Because at the end of the day, you could speak, but if you're not monetizing, then you're not taking advantage of your potential. So those, that's just a few of the things that I provide, and I would love to have a conversation. You can go to my website, vipstudiospeaker.com. Again, that's vipstudiospeaker.com. On there, you can click on the button there, schedule a call with me, and I could help you. We could chat about how I could best help you take your speaking, your coaching, your book to the next level. And also, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, VIP Studio Speaking, at VIP Studio Speaking, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Let me say so much. It's been an honor and a privilege to hang out with you today. Thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Can't wait to see you again in person and bring you back.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Shay. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. I certainly appreciate it. You have a lot of choices you can make, but you choose to be with us. So thank you so much. And I never get tired of reminding you, every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what's going on in your life, by the way, whether you've been hit with the punch that you never saw coming, or you're taking your business to and life to that next level of success, the one thing I believe with 100% certainty is that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name, it hasn't changed. It's still Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. We out of here. Peace. Thank you so much, Doc. Looking forward to connect with you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank
We gone.